Hey, for lifers, this is Pig for Life coming to you live with the review for a new company, or at least one new in name. I don't know if they're new completely, but this is Wonderful Trans Ronin, WTO1 Ronin. So this is their version of an IDW Drift. It does. Greatest mount of all time is here. All right, I know T-Man is here, TM. So thanks, I appreciate you calling that out. But I wanted to give you guys a review of this figure. I know some others have reviewed this already, but none of them do really good justice to the complex transformation. And like I said, I'm trying to do more reviews this year, trying to do one a week. So yeah, but the box itself is kind of interesting. It just has weird like quotes around. It's like, if everything grows according to plan, you will meet in the near future. I don't even know what that means. It does let you know that the height is 21 centimeters. I don't know if you really need to know that on the box, but I guess that's nice. But yeah, that quote is all over the place here, all four sides of the box. The box itself is just pretty standard, but pretty nice and thick. I actually got this from Show Z because Toy Dojo isn't carrying this figure. Out of the box, he comes with the clamshell. He comes with his baggie of accessories. And then, well, from Show Z, we also, I got these decals that you can apply to him to make him look more kind of like a race car or space race car or whatever it's supposed to be. They look really good, but I didn't want to change the all white. Hey, Alex B, how's it going? All white of the look. But yeah, these are decals, and then they also included some stickers, which were kind of interesting because they also got the alternate colored ones for the purple Autobot and red Decepticon. So that's really nice. All right, where's your comment? Did I miss your comment? I just saw Twast at the very beginning. So really quick, I am doing something a little bit different. If you look in the live chat, in addition to live chatting, there's also a Q&A section. I'm doing that because in most of the reviews, I used to have to rely on TM or one of my mods to moderate the questions while I'm doing transformations and stuff like that. So I wanted to use the Q&A feature because that all collects in an area for me. And when I take breaks, like when I'm done with one-way transformation and done with the other transformation, I can all address those at once, and I make sure I don't miss anything. I'll try my best to also monitor the chat as it goes, but that's obviously really hard when I'm trying to do transformation and stuff like that. So yeah, use that Q&A feature in the live chat below. All right, so real quick, let's look at the extras. So he does come with a handful of extras, not a whole lot, but enough as you would expect. He comes with this cloth cape with wire on each side. It is quite nice. The fabric's really nice, and it is double layered. And it has a little cutout here to make it easy to go around his neck. We'll show it off. It's kind of hard to manage. But if you're somebody who's really good at posing and stuff like that, like T-Man and stuff like that, you'll probably get a kick out of it. Very similar to what you got with MMC. This is a sword accessory to allow you to mount this long sword. So he has 3 swords, this really long one, and this is kind of like metallic paint or finish. So it speckles a lot. There's some metallic paint here. So it's nicely done, nicely detailed. And then 2 of his shorter swords. As you can see, hey Bakerton, how's it going? You have eventually canceled it because the engineering seemed a bit too fiddly for my taste. Yeah, we'll get into that. Speaking of instructions, they don't include any written instructions. They do have a QR code, set of QR codes to contact them. I don't even know what Bilibili is. I guess that's kind of like a Chinese Facebook or something like that, and then a YouTube link. To be honest, the YouTube instructions aren't very good because there's so many small details that without like a verbal explanation of how things work, you're going to get lost. And they also skip a lot of major steps that definitely could help you damage your figure permanently. Hey, Princeton, how's it going? Let's see. Oh, yeah, thanks, TM. All right, so let's go ahead and get him out of the box. So the first thing, my first impression when I first got him out of the box was that he was way bigger than I was expecting because I didn't know he was supposed to be 21 centimeters. But he is quite large and he is quite hefty. He is quite heavy. And so that took me by surprise. There were a couple of QC issues that I found on mine. Like there was paint scratch on his thigh immediately. There's another one just probably hard to see on his crest here. And a couple of other places that, oh, and like on his thumb here, he has like a big gash on his thumb. Again, it's probably really hard to see with this only 720p, but there's a big gash on his thumb here. They're not terrible, but it was disappointing to see that. But the finish itself is quite nice overall. Again, he has a lot of die cast. You can feel it on like this whole leg panel here on the inside. I think his kneecaps here. What else? Oh, this part here. I'm trying to feel all the cold places, but he does have a lot of die cast. Oh, these pieces back, some of these pieces back here on his elbow. So let me just weigh him real quick. He is 13.8 ounces. What is that in grams? 390 grams. So yeah, that's quite heavy. He feels quite solid. But the other thing I noticed right out of the box when I tried to pose him is that he's kind of fiddly to pose, and he has like only so articulation. A lot of that has to do with some of the things that he has, like these scabbards here, his big shoulders, which are kind of part of the design, but also like the hips here. Like you run into stuff quite a bit, and you got to just kind of maneuver things out of the way to get all the clearance. You can see it's nice and squeaky there, but he looks really good. So before I actually get into too much of the articulation stuff like that, I always like to do a comparison of his robot mode. All right, so I'm a big drift fan, so I have a bunch of drifts. So here he is next to the flame toys one, a little bit bigger, but obviously this figure looks, I think, overall better here, the flame toys one, but that's because it doesn't obviously need to transform. So he does look a lot sleeker overall. And he looks more accurate. So like the choice that they made with the alt mode, I don't think it's accurate to any version that I remember from the comics. I could be wrong. I haven't read all of the IDW of every single comic, but at least the ones that we kind of think of Drift immediately, like from the Drift one shot, as well as More Than Meets the Eye and so forth. He takes some liberties with the alt mode, but we don't really see his alt mode all that much anyway. Oh, sorry. Let me bring some others. I have a bunch. So here he is with MMC's Stray. I forget which version of the Stray this one is. Sorry, his ankles are being finicky. This version of Stray here. So that's the MMC version. I also have, I forget which, is it Reveal the Shield or one of the generations, the Chug one, Drift. So this is the official Hasbro one, and I think, did I put some stickers on this? Yeah, I put some repro labels on this one. So you can just see you got like small, medium, large, and gigantic. I was trying to think of what other comparisons made sense, but this guy is kind of a weird scale. So like if you're not gonna obviously scale with the MMC line, as you see here. And then I guess maybe he's supposed to scale with the Masterpiece line, but even then he looks a little too big for the Masterpiece line. Let's see who else I have. Just for fun, I'll just compare him to somebody else we have, which is Fans Toys Jazz, who just came out. Yeah, the thin lower legs and MMC. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the robot mode definitely looked a little bit weaker, and it was not as detailed. Like, as you can see, just how much detail is in the surface details and everything like that. He looked very plain. I forget which version this was. I don't know if this was the initial release or not, but they did do a couple versions. But yeah, that's totally fair. But it's nice that we finally get another company that did Drift. Like I said, I'm a big Drift fan, as you can see. I actually have a couple other drifts, but I didn't bring them all out. And I actually have one drift in alt mode that I transformed. Where I learned, oh, there it is. So I'll bring him out for transformation. So let's go into more of the robot mode. So yeah, finish wise, he really looks really nice. He does have die cast here on the sides as well. translucent pieces and stuff like that. So I think they did a pretty good job overall. They have some metal pieces here. He looks quite clean. The only places that I find are a little annoying are the way they did the scabbards. And they do work. You can slide this in this way, but they're a little chunky and they really get in the way. You can place it in either way. Same thing with this. They had to add an additional piece. I was hoping that they could integrate that somewhere, but it's kind of annoying that you have to tab on this piece just to put on a sword, but it's not a big deal. At least you have the option to do that. But the biggest annoyance that I have with the swords is that the way that they molded the hands, well, in particular the thumb and the slot, is you can't actually have the hand wrap around his thumb wrap around his weapons. So like to do it, you actually have to have the thumb up straight, and then I guess you can lay it down. You can't even curl it down like this. Like literally the ball peg, it interferes. So you have to have it up like this. And I thought maybe I was doing something wrong, but even if you look at the promo images, you have to have it gripped kind of goofy like this, or you can't use the tab at all. So that's a really poor oversight. Like that's a very minor thing, but that's really annoying. But it does hold well once you get them in. But again, that's just kind of a dumb design. The good thing is you can use them either way, so you can have it upwards or downwards. I often have my drift displayed with at least one sword downward like this. But yeah, that's a very minor complaint. But I mean, this is so basic. Like if you look here, you can see that the ball peg itself is like midway into the tab. So you can't, like, why would you design it like that? That makes no sense. All right, but anyway, overall, robot mode does look good. We've already talked a little bit about the transformation. So as I warned in my post, this might be a really, really long video. I don't know. It just depends on how this figure wants to cooperate with me. Sometimes I get through it pretty quickly. Sometimes I don't. I guess the last thing is you can just, again, put the cape around. But since he has so much stuff going around his neck, you just got to move it around. But it looks pretty cool, and you can have it like, you know, wrapped up over his face, kind of like a ninja instead of a samurai. But yeah, again, the metal wire in here lets it be quite flexible. Yeah, the price on this guy was quite good, as you would expect going from like a Chinese retailer. So that is the one really good selling point on this as well, that the price point, given the size and heft and materials, and overall quality of what it looks like, especially in robot mode and alt mode, actually, for that matter. It's just the only big thing is when we get into transformation. All right, so let's go ahead and do articulation. Let's start with the head. He can look up, is on a swivel, and then he can look right or left. He can't go all the way around left. He can look about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit more, but for transformation, you do have to rotate it, and you can only rotate it one way. So you have to rotate it to his right or clockwise, and you can rotate it all the way around. And yeah, and then it goes that far. Not a big deal at all. More than enough that you would need, I would imagine, unless for some reason you really need him to look 90 degrees to the left. Let's see, what else does he have? So that's really it. He can't really look down at all. His shoulders are hinged all the way back there, so it's really, well, this part of the shoulder. So you can go all the way around, mostly for transformation, but he also has a shoulder joint in here, which is normal. And then bicep swivel. The other thing that he has is a kind of forearm here, and you can rotate that around. So some people like to have this kind of vented detail out this way if you want. It really depends. I think it's supposed to be on the back. This piece does expand and contract a little bit to give you a little bit more posability, I guess. And he has a double jointed elbow, which goes pretty far. The wrists are on a swivel. And the hands, again, are pretty disappointing. He does have a ball pegged base thumb and then one joint here. But again, the thumb is kind of annoying because of the weapons. He has one pointer finger with a base pin and then a second joint pin. And then for a figure this size, I was really disappointed that he doesn't have all individually articulated fingers. It has these three all webbed up together. So, and then again, it has one at the base and a second joint. So that's kind of disappointing. For a figure this large, I would have expected individually articulated fingers at the very least. Oh no, hey Mariano, thanks for joining again. And just a reminder, everyone, I'm using the live Q&A, the Q&A feature in the chat area. So if you have questions that you really want answered, ask them there, because I could very easily miss them in the live chat as they come up very quickly and I miss it. So, all right, where else am I? At the waist, he does have 360 waist. He doesn't have any kind of core or midsection articulation here, especially the way it transforms. So it just swivels around. His scabbards are on a swivel and then like a hinge, but the hinge goes inward and you can't really, well, this joint here is for transformation. And then he has another one here, which is hard to see, which again, you can use a little bit to go up like that. And then that whole section, if I can move this out of the way, is on a long gray piece that can move up and down a little bit. It gives you a little bit of extra room. The hip skirts can move up. They're on ball pegs. Same thing on the back side here. And then they have some hinges for transformation, not for posability. And then the legs can now go not quite 90 degrees. Well, maybe almost 90 degrees before you start running into interference. It might scratch your detail. You can hear how squeaky it is. Going back close to 90 degrees, close enough. And then if you can get the hip skirts out of the way, you can go 90 degrees out. Thigh swivel, a hidden thigh swivel, which is nice. And then double jointed knees, one up here and one down here. That's good. What else do we have? Oh, the feet. He has these feet covers that go up and down. These are die cast. They're on a hinge, and as well as a telescoping pin. They're a little bit loose. That's kind of annoying. He has an ankle tilt that can go inwards. I don't think, yeah, if I remember correctly, he can't go up or down on his like forward or back, up and down like this. Yeah, there's no articulation there. You can separate the heel, and then you can get a little bit of heel if you unpeg it. That's not really, I guess that's for transformation, but it's just as useful, I guess, if you want to raise the heel. But it would have been nice to have a little bit of toe articulation going forward or something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, no. So I think that's it for articulation, unless I missed something. No butterfly joints or anything like that. Oh, sorry. This piece also goes out, and this goes out, but he runs into things. If you actually mistransform him, you can actually get more outward like that. Okay. Oh, sorry. Did I miss a question, Mariano? Oh, yes, it does transform. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Any question's good. But there's some small details that are really nice. So, like, you can see this gold detail. You only see it when you close this up. They didn't need to do that. They could have just made this all silver, but it is kind of nice. These small details that they have here, in the vents here. They did a lot of molding, detailed molding, which was quite nice. I hope he put the batteries. There's batteries on this guy? Hold on. TM says, I hope you put batteries. I don't remember this. I don't think this guy has batteries, does he? If he does, I had no clue, and that's my oversight. So I'll probably have to check with you on that, because I don't think I even saw that on the video manual. Okay, all right. So let's see here. I think that's it for robot mode. Again, it looks quite nice, and it has a lot of heft. A lot of nice paint overall. So if he's a shelf figure for you, I think he does look really nice for the price. But the downside is the transformation. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So let's see here. Give me a second. Let me see if I have any questions right now. Let me take a quick pause. Let's see, Q&A. Oh, hold on. Questions. Just say their videos. What is this? Oh, should I buy? T-Man says, should I buy this? I would say no. Well, again, it depends. It depends on what you want out of your figure. He's not. His articulation is not great for posability, just because things kind of get in the way. But he doesn't have more than you would really, more than what he has less than what I would have expected, just because he has so much kibble and stuff going on. So how much does he cost? Let me look that up. Actually, give me a second. I think it was like 100. I want to see it was like 120. Let me make sure. Oh, 110. He was 110 for Shozi, so I did get that from Shozi because again, Toy Dojo didn't carry this guy. And TM Review says, what company do you think this is if you had to figure? I'm trying to remember. Maybe like Generation Toy or something like that, because the transformation kind of reminds me of a robot, like a movie bot transformation. And then the way that there's like a lot of sharp edges everywhere. You know how I don't know if you guys have played with figures like this, but figures where the plastic is just really, really sharp and it like is painful to manipulate. Like my hands very easily can start bleeding during this transformation. So if you're looking for fake blood, it might be the day. Oh, I'm sorry, and I missed one piece of articulation. He does have a hinge at the wrist, which is a nice piece of articulation, so he can go down and up. That's also necessary for transformation. All right, so those were the only questions in the Q&A section, so I'm going to go ahead and start transforming this guy. Again, I apologize in advance. He is very, very annoying to transform with very specific things you need to do that they don't explain in any videos that I saw. I think maybe Son of Empire did the best job, but even then, it was very hard to follow. So, starting off, let's start off with the arms. So the first thing we'll do is we'll lift this up, the spoiler. We're going to pull out on this rear section. Oh, and I also recommend you have a spudger for this guy for a couple of sections. But there's a... Oh, man. So this happens a lot because this tab right here is very beefy and it's hard to get out. There we go, right there. So you pull this out. You want to pull this down and just rotate this like 90 degrees for now, because you're going to slide this out and rotate it to the side. And just having it this way gives you a little bit of extra room. So you're going to rotate 180 at the bicep. You're going to rotate the hands like this and have them straight like so. And you're going to rotate this in like that. Get this compacted and then rotate the shoulder all the way. Oh, no, sorry. Before you rotate it in, I forgot. You have to come and get this piece out. The easiest way to do that is actually to probably come in from underneath. You got to rotate these like kind of thruster pieces, exhausts. Get that 90 degrees. Then you can fold it out on this white panel. Fold this out again. Fold this down. And then rotate this piece so it looks like that. And that'll make up kind of like the exhaust pipes on the back. And just leave it up like this for now. So yeah, now you can get the hands curled up and the shoulder rotated in. Yeah, but I feel like it does feel like kind of like a Generation Toy. I remember Generation Toys just figures in plastic. Like all the edges were so sharp, it really hurts your hands manipulating. So then we're going to close this up, rotate this so the wheel's out, and then flip this in like so. And then we'll collapse this closed. There's a lot of telescoping joints like this. And then you can just move this up like so for now. Same thing on this side. We'll just repeat. Get this up. Try to get this untabbed. Bring this down like so. Rotate this around. Actually, I mean, you could probably do it without rotating the tire halfway, but I just like to do that. And since we're here, before we even mess with the arms, let's reach in, get this piece out, flip this up, flip this out, get this down, and then once again rotate this like so. So it should look like this. That'll make up with the other two halves, the back of the exhaust. Get the biceps around 180 degrees. Make sure if you use the elbows, like this joint here, To pose it outwards, make sure it's aligned like this. Fold the wrist down like so. So it's kind of limp wristed. Get the finger straight and then rotate this up and in. So you can see how it looks right here. And then we'll rotate this all the way back and up like so. Fold that in, close this up, rotate this around. This only rotates one way as well, so make sure you're not forcing it the other way. Both sides only rotate a specific direction. Close this up, tab that in, flip that up. All right. So that was the easy part. Let's go with the hips. You can really do this at any time. You just fold out these sections and just kind of get them out of the way. We'll just do it now just because I was touching them. Next is the midsection. You want to pull out on these. There's 2 pegs here that go on either side of these die cast pieces. Oh, no, sorry. And then before we do that, you want to flip these pieces out to the side, rotate the head 180 to the back. And once again, a reminder that you can only rotate one way. So you got to rotate clockwise. You cannot rotate his head counterclockwise. You'll mess up your figure. So don't do that. All right, like so. So once you unpeg these, you can extend this section here. You can also pull forward on the ab section. And this will kind of release. There's like a whole bunch of folded pieces here. We got to kind of take them one at a time. So if you want to get it like this for now, from here, we need to do a couple of things. So first thing we need to do is this silver piece has a telescoping joint here. You kind of want to pull down on that. There we go. So you can see it was extended. So now we're going to open this up. So this was clipped in. You want to open this up. And then before you go any further than this, you need to push this on a sliding joint all the way up and through. This will allow you to clear this and get this all straightened out. So this is like the top of the car. And you can see that these pieces kind of tab in here. These will go like this and then come to the back. And then you have the mirror, the side windows. You need to rotate these around. So these parts that are sticking out and they're on a swivel and a ball peg. So you want to angle it so it's kind of like 45 degrees that way and rotate it around so it all aligns. So right now it's kind of up and down. It sits like this originally, just 90 degrees down. You want to flip it up and then rotate it again, kind of like 45 degrees out to the side. So you can see it's like this now. All right. We'll deal with this in a bit. The one thing it's hard to show you. Yeah, so it's very hard to show you, but right behind this gray section, you'll see that there's a small rectangular section here. That's because this gray piece is a telescoping joint that's connected to the chest, and that they don't show you that in any video, but you have to push that down. You can see the gray piece going down, right? And you can't see it here, but it has to go all the way down. You'll see this chest piece too, the center chest piece will also come down at the same time. That is really, really important. So do not forget that. And again, that's very easy to miss, and you'll see why once I go to the rest of the transformation. But you can go ahead and collapse these two halves together. They like, as long as you have it all the way up, you can collapse them together. Then these two halves at the back fold straight. These flip around like so. All right. Next up, you got to basically pull back on the backpack. And then this whole white piece that's connected to his neck telescopes towards the front of this section. So you got to pull kind of forward, and you'll see these. You'll see these kind of two tab pieces come out. That's how you'll know that you pulled it out enough. And then you want to rotate 180 degrees here. Be careful not to mark up your chin. All right, so there we go. These pieces that were attached to the abs that we unlocked, they don't show you this either on most of the videos I saw, but these actually telescope out, so you need to telescope them outwards on this pin, like so, and then rotate them up. I didn't do that the first time, and so that's why the paint is all scraped up here, but I think it might actually scrape up anyway. Luckily, it's a hidden section, so you don't really need to worry about it. And this one went up by itself, but this was a gap filler in the back. You just fill this up, flip this up like so. All right. Now at this piece, these were the pieces that were on kind of on his upper shoulders or traps. Fold those 90 degrees up now. You can do that. And now we're going to rotate. Did I do this correctly? Oh, sorry. I was like, I think I did something wrong. So you want to fold this flat now. So just be careful here. This is another thing that I slightly bent my horns or whatever, this crest. When you fold this backpack down, the head's going to go in this cavity here on his backpack. It is not fun, Marciano. It's not whatsoever. I hate this figure. I almost broke my commitment, my New Year resolution, trying to do one video a week from this figure. So when you fold this down, you want to make sure it gets in between these die-cast pieces. That's easier said than done. See, so like it went through and it's poking out and it's being bent here. You do not want that. You want that. Oh, geez. You want it on the inside of that die-cast piece, not going into that little hole there. Oh, jeez. Otherwise, you can see how it's bending out. You do not want that. But again, it's easier said than done to manipulate these small pieces. And I'm trying to be very meticulous about this because, again, it's not a very expensive figure, but I don't want you guys to damage your figure. And again, this is just so annoying. And I can't figure out why they even molded it this way to even allow this to go through. Let me see if I can. But yeah, I didn't know this until actually I bent my figure a couple times. See, once I get one side, I can't get the other side. It keeps coming out here. So I'm probably going to break this, but what are you going to do, I guess? But yeah, this transformation is awful. Come on. You can actually see paint starting to chip off on the white crust now on my figure. Like live. Okay, there. So kind of like this, where it's on the inside of these, not coming out of this gap here. I don't know if it's going to stay like this or not, but here we go. That's how you're supposed to have it. Be warned, again, you could very easily crack and damage off the tip. But you need to have it like this because this needs to be very compacted here. Now we'll come back up to the front or the top, whatever you want to call it. We're going to rotate at those kind of weird back hinge shoulder joints. And this will come down. This tab will go into the section on each side. So if you bring this down as well, there's tabs on this white part that tab underneath this center section here. Like that. And like that. And these gray pieces, theoretically, should go into these cutout pieces here. And if you're not getting that, it might be because you didn't collapse this gray piece that I told you about earlier that's connected to this white piece enough where it goes like that. But yeah, just keep rotating. Oh, jeez. First thing is to secure these. And then secure the gray sections. There we go. And you can see stress marks up here on my figure already. And then if you didn't collapse that gray part enough, you will not get these tabs on both sides of the car mode in. But this is how it should be. Then come to the back, and then you have tabs here and here that correspond to this and this. We're probably going to have to clean this up later, but This is pretty much it. But that is by far the most difficult section of this figure. And again, this section needs to tab in. It came untabbed. But that part was so difficult to understand how to properly do it from all the instructions and my multiple times trying to transform this figure. All right, where am I? Oh, okay. Now we're coming to the crotch piece. I also don't like that this part is basically really flimsy and flops around for the majority of the transformation, but I tried to do it the other way with the legs first, and it doesn't really work. So coming to the crotch piece, we want to untab here, flip out this gray piece, fold in the tips of both of these hip skirts, come around to the back. We're going to rotate at the ball peg here. This ball peg tends to pop out because they made a big cutout here. But it does go back in. You want to rotate this 180 degrees. Oh, see, it just popped out. So let me push that back in. All right. This piece will fold all the way back and fold like this, kind of like a S. But then you also need to slide. You can see it's another telescoping joint that goes in like this. These hip skirts on both sides fold in. There's a little molded section. And then this folds up and rests into the cockpit. All right, before we go any further, let's go ahead and rotate the lower waist underneath these hip skirt thingies. Not hip skirts, the scabbards. These you can just kind of get out of the way for now. What they're going to need to do is these gray pieces will need to eventually go all the way up like this. And then these end up making the front end of the car. But I like doing that later just because you have to attach it with the legs later. So I just leave it like this for now, and then we'll clean it all up later. All right, but that was the most difficult part. Now we're getting to the legs, which are not all that complicated. Just kind of has some weird things going on. So first things first, we're going to open up the leg. So there's two pegs here and here. Ow, that hurt. They give you some superfluous instructions that you don't need to do, but I'll show you the way I do it. So from here, we want to ankle tilt a little bit. That gives you just enough room for this little fin thing to come in. We'll rotate this piece, this gray piece, forward 180. When you do that, this white shin piece here is on a telescoping joint here, and then it has a little other kind of notch telescoping joint here. You want to push that all the way in. This can come out of that weird telescoping piece, so just make sure it's in the right position here, not any further, and this is all the way in. From here, you can deal with this later. We don't really need to mess with this now. From here, we need to go into this side, the outer leg, this weird detail. We want to flip this up, fold this in on itself. And for some reason, they tell you that when you get up here on this ball peg, rotate it 180 degrees and fold it in. I've actually found that it makes very little to no difference whether you put it in this way or this way. But the instructions and all the videos say put it in this way. So I guess put it in this way. It really makes no difference. You got to telescope this shin armor, fold this in like so, and then telescope it back. Now we got to deal with the foot. The foot here, as I showed before, does peg in right there. And this heel is kind of on a double hinge joint that needs to come up later. Let's worry about that later. On the inner foot, you rotate this piece all the way around. And then there's a peg. So they kind of line up. Make sure you rotate that hinge piece out a little bit because you need that space. We're going to rotate the entire ankle 180 degrees inward. So you can't rotate it this way. You got to rotate it inwards. We're going to flip this up, the toe up, and then up here, the knees, you need to, I don't know why they even did this, but you can collapse this in slightly. And then they have a weird double hinge on the thigh. So you have to pull out on the thigh and then pull it down. So you can see the difference here on this side and this one. And then on the side here, you can see it kind of breaks up. But it is a double hinge. Hey, hey, thanks, Anthony Brown, for the $1.99. Yeah, I don't drink, but this could lead me to drink or do more. All right, so now we just need to close this up. When we close this up, this peg no longer pegs in, but this peg here does. So should. Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. That's that one leg. And then we're going to rotate at the thigh like so. And then we can deal with this now or later, but using that double hinge on the heel, you want to get forward, and there's a tab that goes into this section like that. You may not want to do this now because you do need to tab this in to this section later. But again, whatever way you do it, you're going to be frustrated. So whatever, pick your poison. All right. And again, this is so annoying with this piece just flopping around. Like if you just let it go, you could easily break your figure with some of these thin armatures here. But let's repeat that on the other side. Again, this was the easy part, so it's not as bad. So we, again, just want to open up the leg. We want to tilt at the ankle, fold this piece in. We can deal with the foot now or later, but let's go. Oh, sorry. One other thing I forgot. On the bottom of the foot, you have to push this in. And then there's a small but unnecessary peg that is here. You don't really need it based on how you transform, but you can pull this out and it'll peg into the other foot later. So let's see here. Unpeg the heel. Flip the inner piece around. Tab that in. Fold this in. Rotate this inward. Fold up the toe here. All right, on this side, once again, we're rotating at the shin piece, this knee piece. We want to rotate this in. Come on. 180 degrees. And remember this telescoping joint here and this one will push inwards to the shin. Get the outer leg detail around. And again, they ask you to rotate this 180 degrees before pushing this in. Again, I don't see why they ask you to do that. It seems to make very little to no difference. Telescope this shin joint inwards. Tuck it in behind this detail. Telescope it back down. This knee piece, fold that in. This thigh piece, it's on double hinge that comes kind of forward and down. And then we're going to close this up. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. All right, like so. Rotate at the thigh outwards. Oh, this piece flipped in. But yeah, we're going to do that. And then if we're over here already, let's deal with the double hinged heel piece. How long has it been? It's already been like 20 minutes and I'm not even done. That tabs in like so. All right, now we're ready to put things together. Now coming to the underside, making sure everything's kind of in alignment here, getting this up. What we need to do is just rotate at the thighs. Oh, sorry. You can do this now or later. I actually like doing it later, but there's tabs here that go into the thighs behind the wheels. You can do this now or later. I'm going to show you doing it now, but the reason why is things kind of move around when you try to tab this section in, so you might have to do cleanup later anyway. So we're going to rotate at the hips here, 180. As we do that, you can see that those tabs on the hip scabbards, there's a big tab there that goes into this section of the thigh. But before we do all that, we can start messing with this front end here, getting it tucked in, come to the front, and it's over under tab, not a pushing tab. So you do an over under tab at the very front. Get these lips underneath. And then there's tabs that go into the center here. So you kind of squeeze. And they should tab into the center, theoretically. I think that might be tabbed in. Okay. All right. So now that we're here, go ahead and tab the thighs in to that. Come on. There we go. Make sure this piece is flipped up. And then this piece, this I-beam or T-beam piece, will go around here. And then, where's the other tab? There's a tab here. So let's just do it. So you put this over under there. Tabs here. Again, this piece came out, so we need to tab this back in. We're gonna have to do some cleanup. We'll just leave it at that. The tab on the foot, of course, went back in. Ah, that's so annoying. Again, this is not wholly necessary, but just to be complete, because nobody showed this off either. But again, get the thigh tabbed in first up here, if you can manage it. There we go. This double hinge piece came untabbed. Like so. I think that tab, yeah, the tab on the toes went in together. Here. Here. Let's see. This part is also annoying. The double hinge on these heels sucks so bad. I know people are leaving a lot of comments. I'm just purposely ignoring them because I need to focus here. Now we're just doing some cleanup on these sections. This tab came undone. Come on, man. Help me out. There we go. Sort of. There we go. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good here. All right. So I think we're good with all this section. These look aligned. Everything looks good here. All right. So last but not least, just come out to the front, rotate this piece like this, unfold it, rotate it around, and it's going to peg in here and here. Same thing on this side. Fold it up, rotate this around, and then fold this in like that and like that. And with that, you finally should have your Ronin. Make sure this tab didn't come undone here. Oh no, there's also some weird small details that I don't even know why they bothered. But to cover this ball joint, they have this little flap here that you can close up. And I think we're good. I think now, after almost 30 minutes, we're finally into this guy's alt mode. And the alt mode does look really good once you're here. I have a lot of paint scratches from probably the numerous transformations, some paint transfer here, but it looks good. But I don't remember him looking like this specifically with this stuff. If he does have that for some reason, somebody let me know what that was from. And then he has some tabs here. I wasn't really sure how to make use of these tabs. Like, was I supposed to like... I don't know if anybody saw this. I don't know if this is a detail where you're supposed to tab this in or tab this in. Like, I guess you can, but I really don't know why. I guess you can tab it forward. I really don't understand the point of this, but I guess you can do that. I guess that looks kind of cool. But I thought maybe you're supposed to tab this in, but these look a little too thick. Otherwise, I don't think there's any kind of weapons storage or playability here. But the bottom side looks actually really clean. as does the rest of the car mode. It just took so much work to get here. Based on Cyber Factory GPX Acerada. Is that a real car? What is that? Oh, thanks, Baker Jin. I like pain. Let's do the reverse transformation. We're definitely gonna do it. That's just my MO. So we're gonna do it. Usually I don't have a lot of alt mode comparisons besides Streak, MP Streak, which is my go-to. Not really a good comparison here, obviously. Much smaller and only about half the width. I mean, it's a cool looking supercar, whatever racing car. I did transform the drift, MMC drift, the Aether Beta, the dark one, whatever you want to call it. So this is more of a accurate comparison, I guess, because again, this apparently is not based off of a drift alt mode. Oh, these came undone. Sorry, I did mention these before, but these tend to come undone. But yeah, he does. The alt mode looks good, and like I said, these pieces for like the spoiler here, and this is for like the front end, this like unicorn thing. They look really cool. They've shown pictures of folks who've done it, and the official photos. They look really nice. But I don't want to do that to mine. I want to keep mine kind of like nice and white. This is kind of a pearl white. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It does look really quite nice. The paint overall has held up quite well, surprisingly. Yeah. Yeah, oh, sorry. Remember, I said these pieces might come undone here, these tabs. Luckily, they didn't, but usually at the end, I need to tab these in. Yeah, so overall, still pretty impressive how it looks. It was just so hard getting here. The wheels do roll, and he's quite heavy, but as you can see, the wheels don't roll. This wheel doesn't even touch the ground for some reason. Maybe this side. Oh, I don't think there's enough clearance because of the crotch. That's why it doesn't roll. I mean, they theoretically roll, and they are rubber, but it looks like this crotch piece is actually. Yeah, it doesn't clear. I never noticed that before. But yeah, that's it for alt mode review. I think it looks really great. Nice translucent pieces here. The details actually look quite nice. Again, the venting and the front translucent pieces, even the venting on the front, very supercar-esque. It looks very good, but the transformation to get here is so painful. So painful. Hopefully you guys empathize with me. Oh, the two front tires slide down? I didn't even know that. How? What was that? BP Pro, the front tires slide down. Really? I'm not seeing how they slide down. If they do slide down, I don't know how it works. Unless it's on like a little. Let me see. Oh, Princeton Failing says he doesn't. Hey, Princeton, does your front wheel slide down? Did I miss that? I mean, these wheels do. The instructions, again, the instructions are pretty poor, but I don't remember seeing that either. How do they slide down? I'll take a look. I guess at the instructions, digital instructions only, yeah. I don't even know how they would slide down. Hey, Princeton, it sounds like you have this figure too. And clearly I must have done something wrong, but I just had to give it a stronger push, I guess. Oh, now it works. Okay, so maybe the wheels don't slide down and I just needed to push a little bit harder on this crotch for some reason. Yeah, because I remember when I transformed it before, I had no problem rolling it, and that was the first time I experienced it. But yeah, I guess I just had to give it a bit of a push. So if you do have problems with clearance, do that. But I don't know what BP Pro was talking about or BP, who was it? BP Boo. It doesn't seem like they slide down whatsoever. All right. I dread this, but let's get this guy back into robot mode and we'll finish off the review. All right, first thing I do is just kind of basically untab a lot of stuff. Let's flip these around so that you don't forget about them. These are, again, these little ball peg hiders. John N says, always put, oh, sorry, I didn't look at the live questions. Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in the live Q&A. I said I'd take a look at it. Oh, gotcha. Okay. This is a question from T-Man, but I'll forgive you if you don't want to transform him back live. Anthony Brown says, mine just showed up today. Excited to play with it. Good luck to you, Anthony Brown Jr. I'll pray for you, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get this guy back. So again, fold these pieces up. I just like untabbing the various sections. So again, these wheels actually tab in to the side. Just untab that. I'll untab these pieces up here. What else do we need to tab? Oh, these pieces on the side here. I find that it's easiest to untab. They only slide a millimeter or two. I'll take a look, but I have doubts. There's like no room for these to slide. But let's see. So I find it easiest to untab this by pushing in on this section to release this tab here. Same thing on this side. All right. We're just going to pull the legs down. Remember, you need to untab them here. Just don't pull them straight down. Untab. And then get the front hood untabbed. Get these sections untabbed. And you just want to basically move these out of the way so that the legs can rotate down. Oh, they do. They do push down, but it looked like they were already pushed down on mine. But yeah, he's right. BP Poo. There's a telescoping joint. There's another thing I missed, but it does telescope down. I guess mine was already in the down position, but my issue was with the crotch itself. All right, so where were we? Getting these legs down, rotate them inwards. We're gonna undo this section here. Thanks, BP Poo, BP Boo. All right, where else were we? Open up this section here. It is a lot easier going back, which is usually the case. Just remember when you fold this down, you're going to open up the inner foot here, untab this section, get this around on the other side. It doesn't tab in, but it does kind of cup around this piece here. And then use that double hinge to peg in the ankle here. Oh, so it looks like, actually, I missed it before, but there is toe articulation if you don't have it pegged in. Oh, interesting. All right. So there's another thing I missed. Oh, I did not do a good job, clearly. All right, so where else are we at? Rotate. We can rotate the foot really at any point. Remember, it only rotates clears one way. So again, it doesn't no ankle tilt. We'll show that off again unless you unpeg this. We'll telescope this piece inward, rotate it out, and telescope it back. Get this up around 180 degrees on this ball peg. Come around and it tabs in on the outside of the leg. This piece, we'll rotate this, fold it up, and then here we're going to rotate this down like that. While we do that, remember that this telescopes out, this whole shin piece telescopes out to make additional room for this piece to rotate in. And once we're in, I don't even know how it's supposed to, if this wheel's supposed to be up or down now with the whole new revolution that BP Boo told me that moves. This little knee piece, you want to pull it out. We'll do the thigh and rotate that up. And then we just close the leg. There's a peg here and a peg up here. Come on. The stupid loose piece. All right, there we go. I think we got it. There we go. So that now one leg is done. We're going to repeat for the other side. We're going to rotate this down. Open up the leg. Sorry, I had to untab this double hinge first. Open this up. Get the toe down. You can get this out. This all the way around. If you did use the peg, remember to fold that up. Mine tends to want to fold up by itself anyway. We can go ahead and peg in this heel if you want, but again, you do get more articulation apparently. If you don't, we want to rotate this that way. While we're here, let's just do the knee. Extend that out. Get that thigh up on that double hinge. That's why it wasn't working well. I totally forgot one section. The one little fin detail here. Rotate that out. That probably caused a little bit of collision. Sorry about that. Get this out and around. This section. Fold it up and unfold it up and around. Tab to the outside of the leg. Like so. This shin piece, telescope it up, out, telescope it back. This shin piece will telescope forward. This will rotate in. Oh, I forgot to rotate this around and fold it closed. You can do that later too. It doesn't really matter. And it looks like, again, the wheel, I guess it was down before, and now it's up. I'm not really sure. At this point, I don't care. And then we can close this up again. Peg this in. Peg this in. Lower body's done. Rotate at the waist 180. We can transform these hip skirts, not hip skirts, scabbards, and just get them out of the way for now. We won't need them again. The hip skirts we can deal with now, but we'll have to deal with them later as well. Pull this down. Open this up. Rotate 180 at the ball peg. This piece, we can just open these up. More telescoping than a conservatory. Pull this gray piece down. And then we're going to rotate these between the legs. This is going to come up and tab in here. Like so. All right, let's deal with this section here because it's easiest. So bring this in. So again, we're gonna fold this flat. So this piece is here, and then this piece will go from being angled out this way, and this way to be angled straight down. But again, you do have to have it so that these indents are facing the outside of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and deal with this section with the arms first. These were tabbed in. You can just untab this up here, untab this up here. Just get it rotated back and out of the way for now. We're going to deal with all that later. Since we're already here, let's just go ahead and fold in this thruster, split this in the middle, like so. We're going to extend on this gray piece and this white piece. You can kind of see it better on the front, but it's hard to. There we go. See how it extended? There's at one point you can actually see the telescoping joints when I slide this down. I'll try to show you what I'm talking about in a bit. The backpack, we want to bring this up. You need to move these pieces out of the way so that you can rotate on this hinge And again, be careful not to scratch up your chin or any part of your face when you do that. I feel like these got bent again, but we'll deal with that later. All right, where are we now? All right, let's just deal with this section first. So we're gonna rotate this like so, and again, you need to have the space here. And then you're gonna push this while it's kind of like at this angle through. And slide this entire thruster engine piece down. Did it work? I feel like it didn't go all the way down. There we go. Ah, see, now you can see the sliding joints here. See there's sliding rails right here. Now it's all the way at the top where it's supposed to be. Before, when you were transferring to alt mode, you need to move this and have it slide all the way down. See, I'm sliding it down a bit now. But make sure it's all the way up when we go into robot mode. You need that because you need this clearance here. So now that you have this engine piece split all the way and slid all the way down, you can pull up like this. This backpack is going to basically push through this white piece here. And then you're going to push forward on this silver hinge telescoping joint. What's happening here? And then there's a peg in right behind his belly button that tabs into this section here. But there we go, like that. So I just pushed in and compressed it to tab in the belly button and to get the whole main body through. All right, while we have this like this, let's deal with the backpack. So this backpack, again, you have to telescope this in kind of towards this red piece underneath so that you don't see the screw anymore, like so. This piece, die-cast pieces, you want to telescope, rotate them down. You can telescope them inward now, but I actually find it easier to tab into these pegs later while telescoping. So I'm going to leave them out for now. You can bring this all the way down. And then you have like these die-cast pieces come in, and you have to kind of like blind peg them in. Which is also kind of annoying. But there we go. I think I got that side in. And again, try to telescope it closed while you're pegging them in. Or you can do it the other way. You can telescope them first and then try to peg it in. Again, I just find that you get a little bit more room the other way to maneuver and find that peg, that blind peg. While we're here, this is gap filler. Fold that in. Yeah, you can see that they're telescoped in now. And now we're done with all the hard part, basically. We'll just fold this close, and we just deal with the arms and then the head. So the arms, rotate this forward. We're going to kind of go in reverse of what we did before. Untab this, pull this down, rotate this open, get the arms pulled out, rotate it at the bicep 180 degrees, bring out these elbow pieces however you'd like, get the hands situated facing forward. Then we're going to rotate this out, close this up, and then lastly, before we do that, we want to get this in. So you want to get this flipped up like this and in like so. And then once you have it folded flat like this, you need to rotate these gray pieces 90 degrees. Then you can close up this section, fold up this wheel first, and then close this up and make sure that this chunky tab that was difficult to release before tabs in. There we go. Same thing with this arm. Oh, sorry, we didn't flip this down. On this side, once again, we're going to untab back here. Telescope this out. Get the arms rotated down and out. Rotate at the bicep. Get these elbow pads out and straight. Straighten out the hand. These white panel and gray panel, we're going to flip this up. Like this. Over. Down. White piece down. And then rotate this gray piece in. Bring this back around. Rotate this so that the wheel is hidden. Flip this up. And then you can close up this panel with this sliding joint. Flip this down. Rotate the head. Once again, the head only rotates one way. You got to do counterclockwise on the transformation back, making sure you don't damage any parts of your head crest. And with that, oh, Jesus, came untapped. Come on. And with that, Ronin is back in robot mode. And you can hear from my voice, I'm just exhausted, both physically and mentally, from transforming this figure. I've done this so many times that, like I said, I was telling T-Man and TM Reviews that I almost gave up on reviewing this figure because it was so frustrating trying to figure out all the little things that that make this work. All these small sliding pieces, all these small details, telescoping. They tell you to like push this chest down, but they don't show you how it works. They totally skip some of the telescoping pieces, like here on the official instructions. They don't. I don't even remember them showing some of the sliding pieces on this, on the wheels. I don't remember the wheels. Maybe I just missed that. Yeah, so there's just so many small details. So I like video manuals. Obviously, I'm a big advocate for video manuals. I obviously do them for MMC and Ocular Max. But when you have a figure this complicated, you got to do a better job with them, because they like cut everywhere and they don't show you certain things, and that just frustrates you as a consumer more than just bad instructions, right? Because you're like, I'm following the instructions to a T, and yet you're still having problems. It took me well over an hour to transform it one way from robot to alt mode the first time, with a lot of feeling of potential breakages. A JT Turner JPT says, you will not be flipping this back and forth over and over, just occasionally, given the difficulty, and you'll definitely need vids like this. Thanks. Yeah, definitely. Small Crime says, it's like different people write the instructions and design the figure. Most likely they do. Like for example, me, I don't get any instructions when generally when I do the video sometimes, and I just get the written manual, and they'll tell me, oh, we forgot to include this, or hey, we forgot to include that. And I don't typically talk to the designer, but then there'll be certain figures like MMC's Overlord that I found out months later that, hey, there's a small tab that you missed or small detail that you missed. Why is that chin piece hanging down? This thing? Yeah, it's just loose. Like, you can tuck it in if you want, or you can have it up, but mine's so loose that I have like no choice but to leave it down. If you have like Kiki or floor polish, this one's a little bit better. Well, it was better before I transformed it again, I guess. But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely an advocate for video transformation. I think they show a lot more. But if you're gonna cut like out all the important details, all the small details, like, why even bother? And not to call out some of the other reviewers who did this, but a lot of other reviewers, especially those that do a lot of cuts, completely skip over the fact that how frustrating a figure is to transform. So, I mean, that's one of the things is like a double-edged sword about doing live stream reviews, which I like and I hate. If I screw things up, I screw things up live. If I miss things, they're not going to be as clean as videos, but at least I'm showing you what it honestly takes. like the one video reviewer I watched that did this, like they just completely skipped over steps where they were assembling because they were clearly having problems assembling this piece because they missed the telescoping piece, and then they just cut and they're magically tabbed together without explaining to you how they got from the problem area that they were clearly having to the solution, right? So, anyways, that's just my rant. Let me see if there's any questions out, any more questions in the live Q&A. Okay, doesn't look like any live questions. But yeah, let me just get to final thoughts. Final thoughts are this figure for the price for 110, which is where I got it, how I got it from Show Z. You can probably get it for similar prices elsewhere overseas. They probably have it at U.S. retailers for quite a bit more. But for 110 shipped, it still is a really nice figure. It has a lot of nice 180 US. Dang. Okay, I would say unless you really love the look of this in robot mode or alt mode and you don't feel like transforming it much, then 180 I think is probably pushing it for this figure. It is quite tall. Again, it is like masterpiece size in terms of, you know, this is how he is compared to MP10. But if you're not going to transform your figure, then it's kind of hard to recommend this guy because this guy's so expensive now, and he's like, I don't think he's even in production. He's probably like super expensive and hard to find on the secondary market. But obviously, if you don't want to transform your guy, then maybe you should get like a non-transforming figure instead that looks considerably bit better, I would say, than this, and ease your frustrations. And you'll have way more articulation, way more accessories. I think this one clearly looks a lot better overall. But at 110, it can still be a good recommendation, again, if you don't want to transform your figure. But if you like transforming your figure and enjoying the engineering like I do, this is not a figure I would recommend at all. It's incredibly frustrating to transform and not at all enjoyable. And you could easily break your figure in multiple places. So I would just say be very careful. But again, he looks great. Great paint, like the pearlesque and white, the metallics, the level of detail that they have on the surface. It all looks great for $110. Even as a non-transforming figure, I think it would be a good price. Oh, thanks, Thang Nguyen. I really appreciate the $1.99. Both you and Anthony Brown Jr. If you have any like comparisons you want to see or anything like that, yeah, Evil Ash it actually transforms. Did you actually watch? Did you just come here for this? Because I just spent literally the last 50 minutes transforming it both ways, or like at least 45 minutes. Baker Jin says Flame Toys Drift is their cheapest Kara Curry figure, so you can sometimes find them for less than 200. Really? I thought this guy was really hard, was like out of production unless they reissued him. Hey, Strazy. Oh, can we get it up close on the face? Yeah, sure. And again, sorry. Again, YouTube, at least on iPhone, only shoots live stream at 720p. So I can't get you the nice details. I can't even manually focus. But I clearly think the head sculpt on Flames Toys looks a lot better. And I think it would have been better if they had a slightly smaller head, maybe for the transformation. Yeah, Strarzy, he does, at least, especially like the Flames Toys, they purposely do kind of a Gundam-esque design. And I'm like 99% sure that Wonder Trans used the Flames Toys as the basis of their design. JT Turner, J Turner JPT, thanks so much for the $10. Let me know if you have any questions or any other comparisons that you want to see. So that was $10 from J Turner. I really appreciate it. You really don't need to do that. But if you have any questions or any comparisons that I can do for you, let me know. Same thing with Anthony Brown Jr. and Thang Nguyen. All of you guys are very generous. Let's see. Nothing from Thang. Anthony, did you? He might not even be here anymore. Let me know if you guys have any. Happy to answer more questions. Again, I've been trying to use the live Q&A feature that YouTube Live has right now, so I can gather the questions all in one space. Because when people ask questions in the live chat while I'm doing the review, or especially a Springer comparison, yeah, I can do that for you. It will take me about 20 seconds though, because he's in the back. I'm still here. Just give me a second. Sorry, I had to move all of my movie cast to get out the way. Wreck-Gar, Hot Rod, RC, and Blur. Well, I guess Blur. Was Blur a movie character? Yeah. So yeah, I had to get them all out of the way. Oh. Hey, Princeton, appreciate it. Can we see alt mode again? I will murder you, Princeton. I will. TM, Straw Z is actually my nephew. I saw him today, and he his mom tried to give me $20 because we took him to brunch and everything like that. But yeah, this actually looks like a pretty good comparison, like the size wise, just because Springer is quite big. Yeah, but thank you, Jay Turner, again. Again, if you guys, if Fang or Jay Turner have anything that you want to compare or questions or anything I can do for you, happy to do so. Primax says, I'd buy this figure for $90. 110 to 180 is a bit much. Again, the quality of overall of the plastics and stuff like that, I think for 110 it definitely warrants it. So like for comparison, what other figure is like $110? I'm looking around. I think like the MMC Protectobots, they're $110. They're considerably smaller. They don't have any, or at least I don't remember if the most recent ones have any die cast. Yeah, I don't think they do. I mean, I guess the level of engineer is probably pretty similar, but just because this guy is so complex and probably has way more parts than the others to try to get this convoluted transformation done. So I think 110 is like a decent price. I just think it's just, I mean, you got to really not want to transform your figure. But yeah, if you can get the Flame Toys one for $200, if that's true, I remember at one point they were like up to like 400 or something. Thanks. Says my donation is an early bribe for the next giveaway. Yeah, I did a giveaway the other week at the end of the 2022, and I announced it at the beginning of 2023. So we pulled a couple winners. They should both have their prizes already. I shipped them out the next day, so they should both have them. One lives in DC, so that's only what a 30-minute, 40-minute drive from me. Wow, BP Boo. This figure is $90 on Robo Toy Base right now, shipped, including shipping. Because 110 from Show Z is including his shipping. 110 is way cheap. I think it's up there with Fans Toys. I would not say that whatsoever. Like, well, if you're talking about just like the finish, I would say it's probably. I would say the paint, yeah, maybe. But I don't think the overall quality of materials are as nice as Fans Toys. It does have a lot of heft and a lot of die cast. But I wouldn't say that I would rate this on the same level as the Fans Toys overall quality. Even with the frustrating transformation, I don't think there was any Fans Toys figure that made me as frustrated as this. And that includes like Coot and their RC, their Rouge. They're not nearly as complicated or nearly as infuriating as this. Oh, $5 from Alex B. Thanks, Alex. I really appreciate it. Anthony says Show Z has the lowest price. And again, oh yeah. So Baker Jin said, and Anthony Brown confirmed that $90 Robo Toy Base does not include shipping, while Show Z does. It's better than X Transbots, so right behind FT. You consider X Transbots right below Fans Toys? I don't know about that. John N says everyone breaks their FTRC. That is true. Since we're just gabbing it up because we're already at 80 some odd minutes, I'll just bring out some other figures so that you guys have some eye candy. I will be doing a review of MMC's Optus Promenon tomorrow, because again, I'm trying to do Sunday through Saturday, and I've already did one video this week, which was my giveaway video. So let me know, Alex B, if you have any comparisons you want to see. Yeah, TM Reviews already has a review of this Promenon out, so definitely check it out. This is, I think, like the fourth coloring of this, and still one of my favorite figures. Quality-wise, is it better than the other third-party companies? Overall, like, again, not including the transformation, I would say that this is actually a very quality figure in terms of overall finish and stuff like that. Why is my drift? Overall quality. So I think that's what Scramble Cities Customs were saying. He puts it up in terms of FD, in terms of quality. I probably wouldn't go that far, because like the plastic feels a lot cheaper in some places, especially the thin parts here. But I would say it definitely is better than like X-Transbots. Overall finish and paint is better than MMC or Ocular Max, because it is fully painted and pearlescent, like metallic flake kind of stuff. Better than X-Transbot. Who else is there? I'm trying to think of other popular third-party figures. Like probably better than like DX9. Oh, it kind of reminds me of the DX9 plastic too. Remember I was talking about like the sharpness of the edges, like the movie figures from DX9 have that kind of same feel, where it's very hard, sharp edge plastic. Jay Turner says, I like the way Ronin looks with Optus Commander. I may pick that up. Yeah, I mean, the only downside is that it doesn't scale well, right? He's much smaller. Like, that's the only problem with them going next to each other. But otherwise, they do look good. I mean, obviously, they're both IDW. Thanks, Frankly Lawless. He said, that's why we love your videos, Peg. Alex B says, you're good, dude. Shout out to my brother, Raymond. He's watching you, too. All right, Raymond, I appreciated you and Alex. Thanks for all the support. Baker Jen says, Planet X has a lot of rubbing plastic transformations, good paint, sharp points. That is true, but I wouldn't say the same kind of level as this. I would say, well, I haven't messed with a Planet X figure in quite a while, so I still have to open my Cactus, which will probably be one of the reviews I do this year. John N says, I always felt like Drift was a cat. Okay, I think he meant Carbot size. Yeah, that's what I think. Like, maybe even this would work with the Flames toys with Optus Pex, but even that I feel like is a little tall. It should be something closer to this, right? But next to Springer, he does look really nice. Good suggestion, Anthony Brown. Yeah, the drift on the left is fire or flame, and it is flame toy, so that's a accurate emoji. All right, so we're already at an hour and a half. I know a lot of that was with the transformation. I think if I timed it, it was like 45 minutes worth of transformation, both there and back, with a little bit of gabbing. But yeah, it just does take that level of I guess meticulousness to get it transformed without like breaking your figures and stuff like that. So just mind the points that I pointed out, especially with the kind of the rear end back of the car with the arms and the middle section here with his torso, with all of those folding out, telescoping pieces, sliding pieces, and the order that you have to do them with those thrusters and stuff like that. You just have to be very particular, or you could very easily damage your figure. The lower legs, while they're kind of annoying and frustrating, they're not where the problem is. It's this whole upper body, back of the car, midsection of the car that really causes a lot of problems. But yeah, I appreciate everyone sticking with me through 90 minutes. If you guys are catching this on the rewind, I'm sorry that it took so long. But again, I wanted to make sure I did forewarn everyone that it would be a long one. But hopefully people like TM Reviews and Anthony Brown, who got that figure and haven't had a chance to transform it yet, found this useful. If you're catching on the rewind and I missed one of your questions, or you have a question, leave it in the comments section below, and I'll get to it as soon as possible. G Creation, that's what I was thinking, not Generation Toy, G Creation. Thank you for that, Slow DK. That's the company that reminded me the most of G Creation, not Generation Toy. Yeah, they have the hard, sharp plastic. That is a perfect kind of example to what you should expect. But again, I actually, G Creation has really nice finish too, because like their Dinobot, their Grimlock that I really liked, had really nice finish too. So, it could be a G Creation company. That's probably one of the more accurate ones that I could think it is, if it is another company under another name. So yeah, thanks all 40 of you that made it at some point. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh yeah, their Grimlock is good, Baker Jen. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up before you head out. It always helps me. It always helps with the YouTube algorithm, getting other people to see it. And if you're not already subscribed, I know a lot of you are. I think a vast majority of my viewers aren't subscribers. Always hit that subscribe button. And again, my pledge or my resolution this year for 2023 is to at least put out one video of any kind, whether it's a review, a chatter day, or maybe even a short or something like that. At least one video a week to try to get me back on track. So hold me to that. If I be doing Sunday and Saturday, I'm not putting out a video, then I'm not doing my job and not holding up my end of the bargain. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks to all of you who donated as well. I very much appreciate it. Thanks to T-Man and TM Reviews for being great mods as always. And thank you all for just being good viewers. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Optus Promenon. Anyway, this guy. I'll be back tomorrow night with this guy. Have a good one all. Bye.